Good afternoon, or rather good morning. This is Deborah Carver coming to you live from Valdosta, Georgia, and I'm going to read Proverbs 23 today, verses 1 through 3. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Here is a warning to exercise restraint when confronted with the luxuries of a wealthy ruler who seeks to lure you into his schemes and tricks. Daniel is a classic illustration of one who lived by this proverb, refusing the allurements of the pagan monarch, which he knew could corrupt him. See Daniel 1, verse 8. This has to do with the king's food and wine. So he asked the commander of the officials that he might not defile himself and asked to be able to eat vegetables and drink water. Verse 4 through 5. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away for an eagle towards heaven. Labor for purpose is much more rewarding than laboring to be rich. First of all, you may never be rich, but if you are, it is fleeting in nature. Usually, a person who gains great riches and has never been rich before cannot hang on to it. It is soon gone. The same chances that you took to get rich, you will still be taking to get richer because one is never satisfied. And to get more, you endanger what you have. For sure, when we die, we leave our earthly possessions behind. We come into this world naked, and we shall not take possessions with us when we leave. Riches are uncertain. Godliness is forever. Rather than wearing oneself out pursuing wealth, pursue the wisdom of God and what glorifies Him. He will bless with prosperity as He chooses. Verse 6 and 7. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, says he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. We see in this that a man with greed may invite you to eat with him, but he begrudges every bite you eat. He really has some motive for inviting you to eat that he hasn't told you about. This is the greedy one who, to be rich, hoards his riches, withholding from the poor and needy to keep and increase his own wealth. This man is full of jealousy in every spot. He really cannot bear the sight of others' happiness and joy. Verse 8 is going right on with this also. Verse 8, the morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up and lose thy sweet words. Excuse me. He invites someone to enjoy his courtesies, feigning generosity, while really being sickeningly hypocritical as his real God is to take advantage in some way so as to increase his wealth at his guest's expense. This is just saying, in the company of this man, this food is no good. Food eaten under begrudging eyes never tastes good. Good fellowship is what makes food good. You will really wish you hadn't eaten it and long to get rid of it to get this bitter taste out of your mouth. When you get this feeling at someone's table, it is hard to find nice things to say. Verse 9, speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. You are wasting your time, and he is to speak to a fool. This is true because fools hate wisdom. We have learned in lessons before this one that a fool is not interested in learning anything. He will think you are just trying to act smart, and instead of appreciating you're talking to him, it will make him angry. Verse 10, remove not the old landmark and enter not into the fields of the fatherless. This is saying beware of trying to defraud someone who cannot help himself out of his land or property, God himself will take up his cause and fight for him. You would be trying to defraud God. God would not hold him guiltless who tries to defraud the helpless. Verse 11, for their Redeemer is mighty, he shall plead their cause with thee. In a normal situation, the near kinsman would rescue the one who had fallen upon hard times or avenge in the case of a murder. Redeemer is applied to God as the Savior of his people, since the helpless had no voice. Verse 12, apply thine heart unto instruction and thine ear to the words of knowledge. This is saying that the desires of your heart be to learn and accumulate knowledge. Listen to the words of knowledge, turn on your understanding, and keep it in your heart. Verse 13 and 14, withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with a rod and shalt deliver his soul from heaven. We see here that punishment should not be overlooked in training a child. If he cries, it is not because you're killing him. The child will survive the punishment and thus avoid an untimely or premature death due to sinful conduct. A lesson learned where punishment is involved is remembered better. In the Old Testament, a rebellious child was killed. Rebellion was associated with witchcraft. This is just saying, whip him and drive the rebellion out of him before it gets too much hold on him. In the long run, you will save him. Verse 15, my son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. This has to be said by the person who is the instructor. The instructor rejoices more than the student when the student learns well. It is a good reflection on both. The instructor because he is taught well, and the student because he has learned well. Verse 16, yea, my reign shall rejoice when thy lips speak right things. In Psalms 37, verse 30, the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. We see here the reins of the teacher again. We know when righteous words come from the student's mouth that the righteousness is in his heart. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Verse 17 and 18, let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long, for surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off. We see here that sometimes sinners seem to be prospering in this world. We are not to envy them or their evil ways. Never look longingly at what they are doing. Anyone who might envy sinners needs to know that their prosperity is brief. They will die, be cut off, then there will be a time when all iniquities will be dealt with and divine justice will prevail. We must keep our eyes on the Lord and his teaching all the way. Never let your eyes off the path of righteousness. Righteous living sometimes in this life seems not to be noticed by anyone. There is an end. The end is heaven. If you stay on the path that leads to God, the righteous will live forever. Verse 19 through 21. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among wine bibbers, among rioters, eaters of flesh. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe men with rags. The rioters, eaters of flesh, are those who do not eat a balanced diet, but can eat several pounds of meat at one sitting. Alcohol and terrible excess of food are very expensive and will take all the money one can muster to buy all of this. Even worse is the fact that you cannot work drunk, and the glutton is so big he can't work. You can easily see these people would be poor. Verse 22. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. The child is in the home is to be willingly under the authority of parents with obedient submission to them as the agents of the Lord place over them. Obeying parents is if obeying the Lord Himself. The reason here is simply that such is the way God has designed and required it. Verse 23 through 25. Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom, instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. Parents are very proud of their children who live a righteous life. The joy of the father and mother of a child who God has blessed with wisdom and who has increased in righteousness and knowledge is even greater than the joy the child has. 26 through 28. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman a narrow pit. She also lies in wait as a prey, and increases the transgressors among men. Don't let the desires of the flesh draw you out of fellowship with God. Parents are very proud of their children who live a righteous life, the joy of the father and mother of a child, who God has blessed with wisdom, and who has increased in righteousness and knowledge is even greater than the joy that the child has. Verse 29 through 35. Who has woe, who has sorrow, who has contentions, who has babbling, who has wounds without cause, who has redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look now thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth its color in the cup, when it moveth itself awry. At the last it bittereth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eye shall behold strange woman, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lies upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shall thou say, and I was not sick. They have beat me, and I felt it not. When shall I wake? I will seek it yet again. These last 6 verses are talking about people who drink too much. Alcoholism, drunkenness, and drugs are a real problem today. The hangover from alcohol is like the serpent's bite the next day. The drunk cannot remember the terrible things he did under the influence of alcohol. One of the worst things now is driving while drunk. When the driver of a car is under the influence of drugs and alcohol, the car becomes a deadly weapon. Drugs can cause a hangover that lasts for literally years. Drug flashbacks can be devastating. We see above that even though the person who was drunk was beaten severely, he wasn't even aware of it at the time because he was unconscious and didn't notice. That part of his life is a blank. He can't remember. He doesn't even know who he was with, but he doesn't know who beat him. This should surely convince you to leave drugs and alcohol alone. God bless you and thank you for joining.